Let
of
me
these
get
teams
my
would you rather
dog,
be?
fucking Trevor Bill William Lawrence the third. Okay, I don't care if he's the first, second, or third. Number one quarterback in the NFL right now.
Oh,
MV fucking P. Trevor Lawrence. Okay, let me roll out to the left real quick
I can't.
and flick it 50
I can't
yards
tell if
into
this is
the
a bit.
breadbasket of Parker Washington.
I can't tell if
Okay.
this is a bit.
Oh, I'm dead ass serious.
This is gonna sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to the Warner Brothas Podcast. It's the Fearsome Foursome. Fellas, what's up? It's glad to have the original NFL core four right here, guys.
Brendan, can you do the crowd a favor? Can you back up a little bit and just show the shirt?
Let me engage the fireworks real quick. Let me find my button. I gotta step off the screen real quick.
He's gotta find a button.
Oh, where are you at?
Sweater.
Round of applause.
Where's the switch at? I gotta find the switch on the clock. Come on now, bitch. Where you at?
Golly. I thought this
Hold
was
on,
gonna
we're
be
having
quick.
technical difficulties.
I thought
here.
this was going to be quick. He said no.
Here we go.
There we go. The suspense was almost worth it.
Hey!
Got the hose on the ugly Christmas sweater.
Fucking caked up.
Hey.
I love it. I love it.
Love it.
Listen, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Music and you're listening, it is Kyle, joined today by my brother Keenan, joined today by Timmy Gray, and once again joined by Brandon Petty. Welcome back. Welcome back.
And if you are listening to on Apple Music, Spotify, all that, you need to probably go to YouTube just for a second, just to see what Brandon's wearing. And then you can go back to however you enjoy your podcast. So just saying that. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and then go see what Brandon's wearing. But anyways, let's get into what we're talking to today, Kyle. Kyle has some topics for us.
I think we've all played the game Who'd You Rather, which is, usually based on attraction or sometimes a ridiculous who'd you rather type question. This is who'd you rather be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a list, or I'm going to give you a choice of two teams, two players, kind of playoff related. You'll see. I won't even give you hints, but some are playoff related naturally as we're heading towards the playoffs. But I've got 10 questions, 9 are NFL. One is actually NBA Cup related. So without further ado, fellas, let's get right to it.
Yes.
We can determine the order here in a sec, but let's start off. These two teams, one had a giant win streak and has now just had their first loss. And of course, we're talking about the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And this other team is a wild card team. I'm talking about the Houston Texans, who is getting hot at the right time. I believe they're on a 5 or 6 game win streak.
I think 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
And the Patriots aren't necessarily. So the Patriots aren't necessarily cold, but they did just get their first loss in 10 games. And then they got the Ravens this coming Sunday going to Baltimore. You could make the argument that they peaked early. So my question to y'all is, would you rather be the New England Patriots going into the playoffs, who are going to have a high seed, who are going to have a home game, but maybe aren't peaking at the right time? Or would you rather be the Texans, who are going to have a tougher road, but are probably the hottest team in the NFL right now? Timmy, we'll start with you.
It is pretty close, but I think I would lean Houston here, especially going forward into next year. Although they don't have an MVP candidate at QB, they're like a couple pieces away from really putting it together offensively. They could use offensive linemen, any position, and then like a really good running back and a wide receiver too. And I think they're like there.
And this is to be clear, this is for this year's playoffs,
Gotcha.
Not necessarily going forward, but this year's playoffs.
Understood.
Okay.
I think with their defense, they can beat any team, which I don't think is the case with New England. As we saw this week, they're going to get into shootouts where they let up 30-something points, and that could happen in the playoffs. And Houston's not going to let up 30. Houston might not even let up 20 in the playoffs. They might buckle down. So it is pretty close, especially for this year's playoffs. I am going to lean Houston. I think they're starting to figure it out offensively, and that's going to be scary because if they score 24, you pretty much lost. So,
Brandon Petty.
Yeah, I'm also going to go slightly into Houston. Nothing against New England. I just to your point, Kyle. I think Houston's they're peaking at the right time, and like they're kind of like Timmy said, they're figuring out the offense. I think they're finally realizing that Nico Collins needs the ball 10, 12 times a game. I think they finally also realized too that Woody Marks is actually a decent NFL running back. And they have good pieces too. Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins. Like they have good pieces outside of Nico. CJ Stroud really just has to play game manager. I mean, they don't need him to go out and be an all pro. They don't need him to go out and be a top 5 quarterback, although it would certainly help out. They just need him to manage the game. Because that defense, I mean, they're playing base defense pretty much all the time. And they're literally just taking 4 rushers and just going and getting after the quarterback. And that gives Stingley and company all the time in the world to stay with receivers. I mean, I think that defense can pretty much shut anybody down. Like they match up well on paper with pretty much every team in the NFL. I mean, they have it all from the defensive line back to the safeties. So I would take Houston right now because of, especially if you're peaking at the right moment once you get to the playoffs, that's a dangerous team, especially with that defense. So I think they could definitely do some damage.
Keen, what about you?
I understand both sides. I think going forward, I know Timmy mentioned going forward, I think the Patriots I'd actually edge a little bit there because I do, like, we all have kind of thought this year was going to be a stepping stone for the Patriots, and they've shown that even if they were to lose in the first round of the playoffs, which I don't think they will, but even if they were, this is still a stepping stone in the right direction to make the playoffs, most likely win the AFC East, even though there's still an outside chance that Buffalo could win it. So you could argue on both sides there, and I honestly think I agree with both you guys. You could argue there. I'm leaning Patriots just because of the fact that Houston's going to have to do most of it, if not all of it, from the road because of how good Jacksonville has been playing as of late. And I think it's just difficult to have to go on the road for 3 straight rounds. Is it possible? Of course, but the Patriots are likely to have 1, if not 2 home playoff games. I mean, could be 3 technically if they're are the 2 seed and win every single game and the Broncos get upset. So, like, realistically, most of the road for the Patriots is going to be at home. I would lean the Patriots just for that. I know defensively they haven't been as good as of late, but Milton Williams has been a big portion of that. When he should come back before the end of the season. I think that helps their run defense. I think that just helps that defense overall. But I think fairly, both sides I think you'd want to be both sides because with Houston, it's like, can what we believe is star to superstar quarterback, can he get us 24? Can he get us 22 even? Maybe some days can he get us 20? Like, his defense is so good. Like, can he just get us to 20 and we can win games? And the Patriots have a guy at quarterback, though obviously he didn't come through last weekend. They feel as if, yeah, we've got our guy, we've got our coach. This defense can still get better when we have a couple players back from injury, and the road through the playoffs should, for the most part, go through Foxborough. So I would lean New England. I get both why you would say Houston, though.
Couple things. Keenan, you said Fairley, and for some reason that triggered my boy, former defensive tackle Nick Fairley, former Lions. I don't know why that. I haven't thought of him in years. It's triggered him.
That's an immaculate grid pull.
It is. It is. Listen, I don't think there's any wrong answer to this question. This is actually one of my favorite questions that I have on this list. And almost like, obviously I'm going to have an answer, but almost like as a moderator to this game, I'm like, maybe I'll plead the fifth because I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I don't even think I said the Patriots possibly could have been peaking at the wrong time, like a little early, but there's not really a case for that either because, yeah, they lost the Bills, but no shame in that. What I'll say about the Texans and them having to go on the road, you can almost find yourself like the Texans are right now, late in the season, to where those road games don't even matter. You just get such in a rhythm and in sync as a team like they are right now. It's like, all right, we're on the road, doesn't matter. We just got to do our job. Like y'all said, CJ Stroud got to play a little game management.
They got playoff experience too. Like,
playoff
that's the thing
experience.
about them. It's
like they've got a real coach. Very, very much 2007 and 2011 Giants feeling to them right now. The funny part about this question on both sides of the coin, the Texans could realistically, not likely, but realistically could fall out of the playoffs. The Patriots could realistically fall to the 5 seed. And honestly, might even be better for their playoff chances if they fell to the 5 seed, if the Bills were to overtake the division. A lot would ride on, obviously, the Sunday night game with the Ravens. I honestly can't call it. I don't think there's a wrong answer to this. Maybe I lean the Texans a little bit because they are so hot in December going into January. But you also got the Jaguars to deal with, and possibly it's not likely, but if the Colts go on a little run here, again, Texans could just find their way out. I don't think that's likely. And then as far as the Pats, like Keenan said, you get those home games, that's such an advantage. And especially me and Keenan have talked about it. Gillette's a real tough place to play. Brandon, you've been at a Gillette playoff game, right? And it's not the Brady Belichick years, but that crowd, I promise you, will still bring it when it's January and when it's a real playoff game moment. And you can kind of see it against Buffalo, or excuse me, actually, against Buffalo.
Yeah, it's against Buffalo.
That's one game. So, I mean, the Patriots are so well coached. I mean, they're fun to watch, but they don't like overdo it. But they look supremely coached right now, is what I like about them and why I think they're such a dangerous team. Texans I think most people would answer the Texans to this question, but the Patriots, regardless, I think are going to be a bitch to play because they are supremely coached. Josh McDaniels is in his bag. Vrabel's doing his thing. And
since that Steelers game, they don't really lose games. Obviously, like Bill, like they last week they were up 24-7, they were up 21-0, and obviously the Bills were able to come back in that game defensively. They just weren't able to stop Josh Allen. We've seen that a lot, and James Cook, but we've seen that a lot. I do think Milton Williams helps with the James Cook aspect, but obviously Josh Allen, we've seen him go for 6 touchdown games a few times. We've seen him go nuclear a few times, but for the most part, since that Steelers loss where they really just like 5 turnovers and they lost a close one, they've been like, okay, we just don't turn the ball over. We just play smart football. We're most likely going to be in, if not win, all of these games. So that's kind of what they do well.
What are the chances that during that stretch Ramondre was hurt? Pretty much from that turnover game where they had like 5 fumbles, Ramondre missed a ton of time, and then like the fumbling problem just went away.
Yeah, and also Ramondre has been a little bit better too. That I want to do credit Vrabel for that because I think Bill Belichick would be the type of coach to like just say no. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Vrabel still empowered Ramondre to be a force and to useful. But you're right, Tim. Too, the more they've used Travion Henderson, the more their offense has had a little bit of pop to it because he's a game breaker, which is how when I literally like the first play of preseason when he saw return the kick, I was like, wait a second, we've got punch. We've got punch. I was like, oh, finally, we've got a guy with punch. And then Kyle Williams too has some speed to him. So I really like this offense. I just hope this defense can come around. I'm actually pretty confident it can with Mike Vrabel being a mind behind it. So that's why I'm still confident in the Patriots, but the Texans are no joke. And out of every playoff team, they're the least I would want to play them, and probably Buffalo just because obviously Josh Allen's a problem, but like, golly.
Maybe Kansas City?
No! And unfortunate for Patrick Mahomes, of course, so we'll probably get into that at some point. I don't know what Kyle's questions are, but Kyle, you can go to the next unless you have another point.
One thing, Ken, you mentioned Milton Williams coming back. Also, Will Campbell will be back by playoff time.
That very much matters too.
Keen, you know what? I got these in order, but I'm just gonna go all around the horn with these questions. And you mentioned Patrick Mahomes.
I did.
Let's do this. Who would you rather be? Let's say the next 2 or 3. Let's go 3 seasons. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be Patrick Mahomes coming off an ACL tear, or would you rather be depressed, stuck in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow? Brandon Petty, we'll start with you.
Oh, man. That's a difficult one there. Ooh.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw this. Y'all saw the Joe Burrow press conference before this Ravens game where he's talking about if I play, I need to be happy if I want to continue playing this and that. So.
Oh, man. It's a tough one because, like, if you're Joe Burrow, like, you're stuck there, and it's like you don't really know if you're going to get out of there. As much as I want to go with Joe Burrow, I think I'd rather just take Patrick Mahomes because, like, the thing is with Joe Burrow, like, I don't think Cincinnati would ever move off of him or, like, get rid of him. Like, because the thing is, like, not only the contract, but, like, the draft capital that they need. So, like, I'll take the ACL recovery for Patrick Mahomes because he's probably going to be ready for week 1 of the season next year because he already started rehab today. I'll take the ACL and LCL tear. Like, the rehab's going to suck. Like, But I mean, being stuck in Cincinnati with like what's consistently the league's worst defense by far, year in and year out, like I'm sorry, but Joe Burrow is just not going to win anything for as long as he's in Cincinnati, unless they sell the team or whoever the old fuck is that runs it decides to pony up with his checkbooks. But I mean, they're going to consistently hover around 500 because that defense is god awful. And I was an idiot for thinking that they were going to be better this year because I did. I keep my own receipts.
I think I'd rather be Patrick Mahomes too. And the thing is obviously Joe Burrow is shown to be injury prone. It's unfortunate because he's one of my favorite players in the league. But he's shown that he can have a little bit of an injury problem. And obviously Patrick Mahomes, not that he's shown to have an injury problem, but now you have the leg, you have the ACL, and you want to make sure you take care of that. Which organization do I believe is going to do a better job of taking care of their quarterback? It's Kansas City. It's not close. So they've got good offensive linemen: Josh Simmons, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey. Those are all very good offensive linemen. Obviously, Simmons went out with a wrist, but you have good offensive line there. They're going to address their defense and their pass rush, and I almost guarantee now, especially if Kelsey does retire, they're going to say, hey, we should probably get a better running game. And we're going to see like, oh, maybe they draft Julian Love this year. And it's like, well, okay. or they're going to do something. They'll trade for Breece Hall, or they'll do something because like they'll just manage to do something. And then the Bengals, what are they going to do? Get rid of Trey Hendrickson to make the defense even worse and then not do anything. The only way I'd rather be Joe Burrow is if he like Minnesota calls and says, hey, here's some firsts, here's some seconds, here's JJ McCarthy, so you have something. Go. And then you're like, okay, Justin Jefferson, not Jamar Chase, but I got Justin Jefferson. I played with him in college too. Like, so that I would be Mahomes just because I trust his organization more.
Timmy G.
It's probably, I think it's going to be
Burrow.
a sweep here. I think we're all going Mahomes.
I won the Burrow case. No, you're good. You're good.
The Chiefs dynasty might come to an end this year, and they might have a little bit of a break here where they're no longer contenders for maybe a year or two. But they're going to have potentially a top 10 pick this year. Next year, we could just call that season a wash. They could be good. They could have a winning record. They could have 500 record, and that wouldn't surprise me. And I honestly wouldn't care. I think that's actually good for them. They've got a lot of things they need to fix. Kelsey leaving. They need wide receiver depth. They need a run game. And then they do need some defensive pieces. So this year and next year is kind of prime for them to fix that. They have a good front office, so I trust that they will fix that. Cincinnati, we have seen now time and time again them try to fix things and just make it worse. Their first round pick this year sat out all of mini camp, didn't practice at all, and hasn't really been making an impact on the defense. So there's just so many reasons you can't pick Cincinnati. It's way easier to pick Patrick Mahomes and just say, maybe not this year, this coming year, maybe not the year after that, but after two good drafts, then they're right back in it. Absolutely.
And it's an organizational thing, because if Joe Burrow was a Chief and Patrick Mahomes was a Bengal, I would be saying Joe Burrow. So like it's an organizational thing more than it is a actual player thing. Not that I think Patrick Mahomes is better than Joe Burrow, but obviously Joe Burrow is pretty much as good as it's going to get at the quarterback position, other than like your all-timers.
Yeah. I mean, look, remember, this was a Patrick Mahomes Burrow question, not necessarily a Cincinnati Chiefs question. So I'm going to make I'm going to make the Joe Burrow case here.
Please do. I want someone to. Please do.
So let's look at Mahomes, okay?
Yeah.
He's going to be coming back week 1. He's going to come back fully healthy, but realistically, we've seen certain players with ACL injuries. It takes 2 years sometimes to really get your rhythm. Yeah. I'm not betting against Mahomes. That's not me saying I'm betting against Mahomes. I think he's going to come back better than ever. Full stop. I do. Thing is, though, I think we can all agree here, this wasn't Andy Reid's best season.
No.
I don't think he was a stellar coach or even above average coach by any means this year. I thought he was an average coach. I was pretty disappointed in Andy Reid most of the season. One thing we did say, even though I know Tim and I were lower on the Chiefs than maybe Brandon and Keenan, one thing we all agreed on was this offense should be better. And Rashid Rice down the stretch this season and Xavier Worthy the whole season, really ever since he separated his shoulder, didn't really give them much. And Rashid Rice gave them a lot once he came back. And this last 3 games when they really needed him, didn't show up like a number one. So if you've got unreliable wide receivers and you got Kelce retiring this year, and maybe Andy Reid, what if you say he's past his coaching prime? That gives you cause to pause. Burrow, since it's a Burrow and Mahomes question, I think there's a real chance, depending on how next year goes, let's say they don't, boost the offensive line and they don't boost the defense, and we just get another, 6-10 or 6-11 to 9-8 type of season. I think there's a real chance we get teams, like Keenan said, offering the farm for Joe Burrow. If that's the case, if we end up, and I could completely see this, if the Rams offered the farm for Joe Burrow after Matt Stafford retires, or the Vikings, Keenan said, with Kevin O'Connell, could happen.
The Colts,
it wouldn't be bad. The Colts, it wouldn't be bad.
The Colts couldn't now because they gave up some of the farm for Sauce, but the Colts would have been one of those teams where, Miami might just be like, hey,
if you got the resources,
we got picks.
That's one thing with the NFL. You can almost, if a team were to give it up, you could almost buy any player with draft picks. So I don't think Joe Burrow's Cincinnati would not be dumb to take that trade. It'd be one thing if every year they're in the AFC Championship game and, they made that trade. But if they're floundering and Joe Burrow's unhappy and someone's just like, hey, here's 3 1s, a couple 2s, a couple 3s, like a real package, and then maybe a young quarterback too on top of that, why not? I mean, that's a good way to reboot your franchise. So,
quick question for you guys. Nick Redded proposed us a couple trades because the people were talking about it. He said Jalen Hurts and a first for Joe Burrow. Would you do it on either end?
I think for Philly that would be an upgrade.
I would definitely do
Philly,
that for Philly.
And would you?
The
and
first,
if you're
basically a second. So
if you're the Bengals, would you do it?
Probably not.
Not quarterback for quarterback, but I would need more than one first.
Yeah. You know who should do it? Houston. CJ Stroud.
Nah, they don't need to do it.
CJ Stroud and a first or 2 and a second here and there. Maybe one of these young guys that they just drafted. They upgrade at quarterback.
We don't want Joe Burrow in the AFC South.
Yeah, I heard Joe Burrow doesn't like hot weather or something like that, so that doesn't work. That's the team that should do it. They got the defense. They got every piece that you can kind of check off that box. Yeah, you trade away the future, but their future's now Super Bowls potentially.
The team that makes the most sense would be the Rams. If you get 2 more years of Stafford, including this year, and next year, and he's like, let me hang it up. And after next year, they're like, hey, we've got this defense made. We got Puka. We'll get another receiver. Got Kyron and Blake Corum. Here's 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and something else. And Sean McVay would have a feel, be like, wait, I go from Stafford to Burrow? We'll have a day.
17-0.
We'll have a day.
When he tears his Achilles week 1 of training camp, and then they're just fucked again.
Now, Sean McVay would manage to make them like an 8-9 team with just some rando. We'd be like, we'll figure it out.
With Jimmy.
With Jimmy G.
The corpse of Jimmy
Leonard.
With Riley Leonard. With Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers might come back for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a sidetrack. I know we're going to get into Kyle's next one. Did you see Tom Brady said that, he could go out there and kill right now?
Me and Tim were talking about this.
On Shaq's pod, because Colin asked him, and Brady was
he didn't even hesitate either.
Yeah, he's like, I could play right now. And then on the pod with Shaq, he was like, yeah, I would kill. Like, I would go out there and kill. Give me a month. He's like, I just can't do this I don't want to do it for a whole season. But if you gave me a month just for like a playoff run, I could do whatever I want.
On campus, you
and
call it
the cheat code.
And every single person believes it. And like everyone believes it. Like,
Brady for the playoffs.
Like, imagine if the Colts would have signed Tom Brady. All of us would have been like, Colts, they have a chance. They've got a shot.
I'm not going to lie. Coming off of Sunday's game, I do think they have a better shot than I originally thought with Phillip Rivers. He didn't look great, but he definitely didn't look bad.
I'll need to see him this week. I'll need to see him this week.
Hey, that was a legit contender, and they went wall to wall with them. I mean, they had a chance to win the game with Phillip Rivers.
Man could barely drop back.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. He did not have the quickness, but he made the plays. He made a couple third down plays. He got a touchdown.
Did make a couple plays.
I'm not ruling it out.
I want to see him this week. I need to see him this week.
Prime time.
I'm interested in
zip on
everybody's going to see him.
Yeah.
Hey, off the couch against the Seahawks in Seattle.
Fresh off the jet,
we all
sharper
picked,
than Gillette.
I think we all picked blowouts. So, I mean, for it to be a one-score game, driving for the win, I don't know. You got a chance there, especially with that coach. We mentioned Stafford. Yeah. I'm going to give y'all this. This isn't a who'd you rather be, but Stafford or the field for MVP here down the stretch.
Stafford. I'm gonna do this real quick. Stafford. He would have to be really bad to lose it to me. I think in the world that we're in now, I know it shouldn't be this way, but MVP also becomes a narrative thing, and Stafford at this point in his career, having this kind of season, they would have to go like 11-6 and just like fall off a cliff. If they are 12-5 or better, and Stafford's still playing very well, I don't see how he doesn't win it unless Josh Allen goes 13-4 and wins the division and goes crazy, or Drake May doesn't lose a game again and has like 11 touchdowns and 0 picks over the next 3. Like, it would take like an all-time performance here and a collapse from Stafford to me, so I'd take Stafford over the field.
Yeah, I'm going to take Stafford as well too.
Okay, go ahead. My fault.
I agree with Keenan. Like, it's got to be more so like Stafford helping other people out, like in this race, because I think he's probably been the best quarterback this year too, in terms of just overall quarterback play. I mean, I think he leads the field by almost like 10 touchdowns. I think passing wise might be 8. But I mean, especially with the Rams being as good as they are, like, I think if they finish with 13 wins, 14 wins, like, I think he runs away with it. And quite frankly, I don't know if it's even close. So yeah, I'd put my money on Stafford. Like, I think at this point, I think it's pretty much all but a lock.
And it's players that good typically get one. Obviously, Breeze didn't, but he's finished second 4 times. Go on, Tim.
Yeah,
I would still be taking Stafford, which is interesting because I saw a post yesterday or 2 days ago. Drake May actually became the favorite after this weekend, which didn't make sense. They lose. Drake May played a solid game, but I thought Stafford played a better game on Sunday, and they won. So I don't know how the lines went the opposite direction, but I would still
I think they might have changed now, possibly, but that's really odd at that point.
They're very close. They're very, very close. But yeah, I'd still be taking Stafford. I also when I look at the schedule for the Rams, there isn't a game where I'm put off by like what defense they're playing. Like, they play Seattle on Thursday night. I'm not scared. I think Stafford can go out there and throw 5 touchdowns against Seattle, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. Drake May, I wouldn't say 5. I would say, yeah, he could go out there and throw 2 touchdowns. So when it comes down to that, those are the 2 guys in the MVP right now. I think Stafford gets the edge.
It'll be really impressive this week, too, because they might not have Adams. And if Stafford goes out there on a standalone Thursday night game and kind of cooks with like 3 touchdowns, no picks, and they beat Seattle, I think he pretty much locks up the award with a great performance this weekend.
Sure. I'm going to give you the case, though, for not Stafford. And I think we all agree he's the front runner. However, as you guys mentioned, Seattle tomorrow. Seattle completely shut him down in the first game they had. Second half of that game, they shut him down. First half, Stafford played well. Second half, Rams really couldn't move the ball. And Seattle's as good of a defense as you're going to see. They're going to be at home. He's going to be without Devontae, not only this week, but probably heading into the postseason. So you couple that with he could take a step back. He's got 37 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen, if he comes and steals the division, he's got 37 total touchdowns right now. I don't think that can be overlooked. If he ends up with like 45 touchdowns total and Stafford, let's say, has 42 and the records are close, I don't think it's out of the question that Josh Allen could steal it. I actually thought that was a good case for Josh Allen 2 years ago in 23 when Lamar won it. I think he had more total touchdowns than Lamar. I think he had more turnovers than Lamar, but he had more total touchdowns. So I don't think I mean, you guys said Drake May, but I don't think it's out of the question that Josh Allen can make a late run. I think he's been playing as good of football as anybody this last month. So that would be my case.
Okay. Sure.
Next
That's
topic.
fair.
Where do we want to go here? All right, let's take it to the NFC South. These two teams, I believe, have the same record right now.
Yes.
One arrow is pointing up, one arrow is pointing, I guess you could say sideways. No, one arrow is pointing down. I guess the other arrow you could say is sideways for the Panthers. Would you rather be the Panthers or would you rather be the Buccaneers? Timmy, we'll start with you.
I thought I was just going to immediately say Bucks. I'll still stick with the Buccaneers. I still think they have a better talent clump of players right now going forward than the Panthers.
Sure.
I like their running back, like their run game more than the Panthers. I don't think Rico Dowdle is the future of the Panthers, but I do think Bucky Irving is for the Bucks. I like Tet, but I like Ibuka just as much. So it's kind of a wash there. Bryce has been playing well, and Baker's actually been playing not so well. So that kind of is tough, but I think I'd still lean the Bucks. I get this feeling with the Panthers that they could make the playoffs this year. They could win their division and make it in. And then next year they could just go back to being ass again, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. Whereas I think the Bucks will still be competitive next year. I think they're more likely to be the favorite to win the division once the season ends. So I'll take the Bucks.
Okay. Petty.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks too. Mainly just because the fact that I don't really trust the Panthers as a whole. I think Bryce Young's kind of taken that step forward, but I think the offense around it, besides the running game with Rico and Chuba, it's really just Tet. There's really nothing else going for them. I feel like with Carolina, all you really have to do is stop the run, and you kind of really shut down their offense. I think Tampa Bay is going to get it going. Quite frankly, I'm waiting for them to get it going. I was super high on them coming into this year. They've been very disappointing, to say the least. I think it's kind of a combination of things. You've had guys in and out of the lineup, especially receiver. I think now with Evans, Godwin, and Ibuka all in the lineup now, I understand they lost to the Falcons, but I really do think that eventually Baker's really going to get this whole thing going. You just got Bucky Irving back. You've had him back for 2 games. It's going to take him a little while to continue to get ramped up. I like what they have on offense way more than what Carolina has. So I feel way more confident in Tampa Bay because I do think they'll get it going. And I think they're one of these teams that are going to go into the playoffs on a kind of like the Texans on a little bit of a hot streak.
Interesting. So you think they right the ship to the point where you think they got a 3-game win streak here going into the the Super Wild Card weekend?
I think it's very possible with what they have on offense.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to lean Bucks, and it's because I think the Panthers are in a really odd situation. And it is because Bryce Young has gotten better every single year. But I don't think Bryce Young is a franchise changer. And that's what you're asking for as the number 1 overall pick. I think he's a solid quarterback. I don't think next year he shouldn't be a starter on any team. I just think if you go in with Bryce Young as a starter, you have already a limited ceiling. And I think with Baker, you have a higher ceiling. So this year, I would put more money on the Bucks to right the ship. Or even if they don't, I'm still more confident of the Bucks moving forward because I think that Baker gives you a higher ceiling than Bryce. And especially if the Panthers make the playoffs, Bryce most likely is going to be their starting quarterback next year. So I already think they have a ceiling of maybe winning the division, but the next year you have a first-place schedule if they do win the division this year, but maybe winning the division and then losing their first playoff game. As where I think the Bucks have shown in the past that even at 9-8 or 10-7, they've made it to the playoffs, and they've given tough games and even gotten a playoff win. So I would say the Bucks just because I trust them moving forward more in their infrastructure a little bit more.
Counterpoint to all 3 of you.
Yeah.
In contrast to their last 2 seasons where they have made the playoffs and maybe kind of limped in, they're at least playing better football. They're playing as bad a football as anybody right now. That
5 out
Falcons
of last 6
loss,
they lost.
their Falcons loss was probably one of the worst losses, if not the worst loss I've seen this season. Say what you want about the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers are ugly. Yeah, the Panthers don't do it pretty. But you talk about Bryce Young. Stats aren't there. I'd say he's still playing better football than Baker Mayfield right now. And if you want to say he's
over the
limited,
last 6 weeks, I would absolutely agree with you. I just don't know how much is to stand for it. But yeah, you're right.
If you want to say he's limited, whatever. That's their franchise guy. And, I look at quarterbacks sometimes more as like the point guard position. Sometimes you just got to spread the ball out. You ain't got to go for 400 yards, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. You know what I mean? I think Bryce Young's doing a great job of that. You can tell he's their guy. The Panthers vibes compared to the Bucs vibes right now are night and day. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. We'll see. They got 2 matchups against each other, but the Panthers just seem like the better vibes right now, and they just seem like a better unit all around. They seem like they have the better coach team. They seem like they have the more focused team. The morale in Tampa just seems awful right now. So I'm leaning the Panthers right now, and the Bucs. You guys are absolutely right. They get one of these wins. All it takes is 1 week for that offense to look how it did the first 6 weeks. I'm just not confident in that. I mean, you could see it coming off the field against Atlanta. Just how awful that team not only looks but feels right now.
Yeah.
So Panthers for me.
No, I don't disagree. I get what you're saying completely, and so it's if Bryce can continue to get better, he's legitimately like every year so far. It's the completion percentage up, passer rating up, the touchdown interception up. Everything continues to go up, and that's what you would want out of a guy who is. You would hope that his year 3 was really his year 1, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. So if the trend continues and he continues to go up, then, I mean, good for them. And I like Bryce, so I'd actually like that to happen. I think I just like him. Honestly, I root for him. I hope the Panthers are decent moving forward.
The Panthers just carry themselves like they're a winning team. And they have even like since early on in the season. Like when they were piling up those wins and we're like, what's going on here? Why are they getting quality wins? We still don't really believe in them. They carried themselves like they believe. So Canales and Bryce Young have something.
True quality wins. Like their resume is better than the Bucs' resume this season. So
I do want to say if the Buccaneers miss the playoffs, I think Todd Bowles is gone.
It seems that way.
And if they miss the playoffs, like I would take that. I would make that move. Like if I was upper management, because I think you need to get an offensive minded coach, or maybe just like a younger mind in there, or something, or just a fresh start.
Yeah, no, I don't. This was supposed to be the year for the Bucs to. I know, obviously, Brandon and I were super high on them, and maybe not like they shouldn't have been that, but like realistically, everyone thought 11-6 was on the table for them, and they can make true noise in the playoffs. And if that happens, and you miss the playoffs after kind of being that, I'm going to say middling team ever since Tom's last season, they were 8-9, then 9-8, 10-7, and kind of around there. At some point, the change has got to be made. So if they were to miss the playoffs to their own doing, because they were 6-2 at one point, so like that's to your own doing. If you're 6-2, I would agree. Todd Bowles would probably be the guy you would have to get rid of.
Yeah, Tim and I talked about this last podcast. I kind of brought it up as well. Like maybe you would get rid of Todd Bowles, and I've kind of been a defender of Todd Bowles actually. Mm-hmm. I think first of all, if they miss the playoffs, I think it would be a fireable offense, but I also wouldn't be mad at them bringing him back for one more year and saying, hey, do or die. I think he's at least earned that, but I also don't think it's that bad for them to fire him. I think they've gotten healthy enough down the stretch, not completely healthy, but healthy enough to where you could win these games down the stretch against the teams they've been playing against, and they've just been looking awful. Yeah. So I'm good either way. Where we want to go here. All right. These 2 possible contenders should be contenders. Both of these teams are kind of floundering right now. These are 2 bird teams, actually. Which one of these teams would you rather be heading into the postseason? The Baltimore Ravens or the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll start with you, Keenan.
Oh, you go? Okay, I'll go first. Eagles, not even close. I don't think the Ravens are making the playoffs. So unfortunately, I would rather be the Eagles because I don't think that the Ravens will be represented in the NFL playoffs because the Steelers' schedule down the stretch is pretty simple. I don't even think it may come down to that last game because if the Steelers win a couple, and even if you think that the Patriots could lose to the Ravens, I don't think that the Packers are going. I think the Packers have the chance to beat them. I mean, like realistically, with Micah out, they couldn't. But for me, my bet would be the Ravens miss the playoffs. I'd rather be the Eagles and have a home playoff game.
Petty.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles too. Which pains me because Baltimore was my Super Bowl pick preseason. Yeah, I mean it's one of those years. It's just a cursed year for Baltimore. It's been a bad year from start to finish, and I agree. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think Pittsburgh really just keeps winning. If they wanted to make the playoffs, you should have beat them a couple weeks ago. I think Philly. I mean, do I have all the confidence in the world in Philly repeating? No, but I think they're obviously the way better team right now. And they have more on offense and defense. So yeah, Philly for me.
Timmy G.
I'll take Baltimore. Why not? You know, I think the Ravens do make the playoffs. I think they win out. They play Pittsburgh in there, and then Pittsburgh has to play this coming week. They play the Lions. So this is going to be tough for them. They lose 2 more, then they're tied, I believe. Mm-hmm. Either way, it wouldn't be crazy for the Ravens to make it, in my opinion. And if they do make it, they arguably have an easier path to the championship than the Eagles do. The Eagles got to play a couple good NFC teams, whereas the AFC is kind of wide open without Mahomes there. I trust Baltimore. I think they're slowly figuring it out. I think a lot of people would have argued that they should have beat Baltimore if they just call that Isaiah Likely touchdown a touchdown like it was supposed to be. So I'm not fully out on them, and I'm like halfway out the door on the Eagles. This week was like a good week for them. That's exactly what they should have done, beating a team that is a 2-win team that has struggled all season long, 31-0, holding them to 75 yards of offense. That's exactly what they should do. We got 3 weeks. 2 of those weeks are against Washington. I think that'll be the real test. Because they should whoop Washington in both those games. If they drop one of them, I'm absolutely on Baltimore's side. So
you guys both all 3 of you make compelling points. It is interesting for me to hear, though, Keenan and Brandon, that you guys think Baltimore doesn't really have a shot. Because it is as simple as if they win against the Pats, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I think the Lions are going to kill the Steelers. If that's the case, they're tied again. And then they face each other week 18, and that could be for the division. So I'm not all the way ruling Baltimore out. I do love the Eagles roster much better at this point in the season. In general, the Eagles have an amazing roster. Here's my thing if I were to make a case for Baltimore. I think I would lean the Eagles, but if I'm making the case for Baltimore, it's that Jalen Hurts has just looked awful. He looked great against the Raiders, but it's the fucking Raiders. And just the vibes there haven't been great. I mean, we talked about it, the positivity bunny. The hell was that? They had to kill the bunny to restore the vibes. The Raiders will restore the vibes. Any sort of matchup against the Raiders, that'll do it. But down the stretch here, those 2 Commanders games, yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they cough one up. Then they got the Bills in the middle of that, which is going to be a tough game. That's in Buffalo, I believe. Whereas Baltimore, I can't remember what Tim and Brandon picked, but Keenan, you picked the Bengals to win this past weekend, correct? Against the Ravens?
Yeah, and I mean, I probably should have read more. I thought that Burrow would kind of be like, I'm going to try to go out there and be good, but like apparently he really just backed it up on me.
Being, he's just really sad.
Point being, as I thought they would at least put up points, I picked the Ravens to like dig it out because it's their season. You know, like last week they lose that game, it's over. But they put up 0. Like the Ravens defense showed up. They took it from the Bengals. Like the Bengals did nothing that entire game. Shut down Joe Burrow. They did lose their leading tackler for the season. The Ravens did coming out of that game.
And Lamar hasn't looked great. Like
Lamar hasn't looked great.
He's been the same as Jalen Hurts.
I would say he's looked better the last 2 weeks than Jalen Hurts did. At least, I mean, it's the Raiders, sure, but the last 2 weeks compared to Hurts 3 weeks before that, I would take Lamar Jackson. Not saying he played great by any means. I kind of buried him last week, but I do think the last 2 games he looked better than before. And you got the Derrick Henry factor, who's definitely playing better than Saquon. If they can lean on Derrick Henry a little bit, get Lamar healthy, you've got a case there. You've got a case. I would lean Eagles, but even as bad as Lamar's playing, I still think he's playing better than Jalen Hurts.
So the thing is, I could be wrong. It all depends on they play. I think actually, never mind. What I was saying, I was trying to think of division matchup and division wise that it might come down to that week 18 game possibly. But I also think that if the Ravens lose both and then the Steelers only beat the Browns, then it doesn't matter. And like that's on the board.
It's absolutely going to matter. The last game of the season is going to decide who makes it. Like that's
most likely. Most likely. The only reason why I say that is if the Ravens lose 2, then they're out. If the Steelers win 1.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that's on the board playing the Patriots and then the Packers. So like that's just like that's on the board, and the Ravens haven't played good enough football for me to confidently say that they're going to beat the Patriots and then beat the Packers. Like this, I understand those 24-0 to the Bengals, but
counterpoint. Are we really trusting the Steelers?
Are we really trusting the Steelers to beat the Browns? I think that they
see
can.
The Browns
I could see the Browns winning, but I also could see the Steelers easily winning that game. So, like, I mean,
if you're making it a Ravens-Steelers thing for me, though, I'm still leaning the Ravens. Again, I didn't love them the last 4 weeks.
That's at Cleveland too. Like, that's probably
Steelers have inspired us maybe the last 2 weeks, like last night against the Dolphins and that Ravens game. That's been their best 2-week stretch by far all season. So if we're going off those two, by all means. But I agree with Tim. I do think the Ravens righted the ship a little bit. I mean, they didn't look awful at all. But I mean, you shut out Cincinnati, who we'd all say is one of the best offenses with Joe Burrow. They had no T. Higgins, but Burrow, Chase, divisional game. None of us would have had them scoring 0 there. Let's say that.
No, apparently, no. I guess I just didn't know Burrow was gonna be me.
Well, I mean, if you can make Joe Burrow look like that,
but I think Joe Burrow came to the game looking like that. I mean, they did well. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Ravens. I'm really not. They played a very good defensive game.
We can't call Joe Burrow one of the best quarterbacks in the league if we're saying he went in there looking to lose.
No, I don't think he went in there looking to lose. It just think he was depressed. I don't know. Listen, like he had a bad. If you want to call it the Ravens had a really good defensive game, they had a really good defensive game. That's perfectly fine. It was just a really weird game. That's all. Literally all I'm saying. That's perfectly, and it's perfectly fine on either side. If you want to just say the Ravens played a really good defensive game, check mark. Fine with it. Don't need to argue about it. It was just really odd. Just hearing his comments before and seeing the Burrow on the field, just really odd. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it.
Counterpoint: if you score 0, that's probably a good defense you're playing.
I know. I just said twice that if you want to count Ravens, that's fine. I'm just saying really weird Burrow game. That's all. But the Ravens played well defensively.
Where do we want to go here? All right, let's take it to Timmy's team right here. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Giants and Titans are the only 2 teams with head coaching vacancies right now, correct? There's not a third team?
No, you can count the... no.
There's probably going to be like 4 more.
There's definitely going to be more, but at this moment, it's only the Giants and Titans, correct?
Yeah.
Right. I believe so, yeah.
Which head coaching job would you rather have?
Giants.
Keaton, go ahead.
Giants.
Without a doubt.
I want nothing. I want nothing. The Giants have Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteraboo, Malik Neighbors, Abdul Carter, like sexy Texas. Like they have shout out Dexter. Like they have some young talent where I could go there and feel like I could win. Tennessee's a bad roster. I don't want to go to Nashville. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to New York. I don't want to go to Nashville. I really don't.
Keenan, the Titans have Chimere DK and Alec Yamamoto. What are you talking about?
They have Jeffrey Simmons, and then
they got Calvin Ridley on the bench. Keenan, what are you talking about?
Like, what are we?
Tony Pollard,
Tony Pollard these last couple weeks have looked really good. But like, golly,
the Tony Pollard revival.
Golly, no, give me the Giants. Sign me up for that. Like, I actually think the Giants is a good job. like where you'd be like, okay, we can go in there and maybe spark something for a couple years. Like I think they have enough talent to where you could be like, oh, we could spark something with the right coaching system. You need a coach to then you how they said Bruno Caboclo was 2 years away from being 2 years away. The Titans are 2 years away from being 2 years away. Like that just I would say away from
it's a solid
golly.
I would like to make a case for the Titans as we're all going with the Giants here. The only case I can make for the Giants, deservingly so. The only case I can make for the Titans here, I should have sent this to the group chat. I came across this graphic the other day. It was since 2011, who has the worst record in the league? And it was 2011, 2012, and so on, up until I think, I don't know, maybe 2020. Each year, it was either the Giants or the Jets. No other team. So my only case would be that the Giants, since Eli and since Tom Coughlin left, have not been able to get it together at all. But the thing is, the Titans have no idea what the hell they're doing. They willingly said, hey, let's get rid of Mike Vrabel because he had an injury-riddled year. His last season was pretty injury-riddled. I think Tannehill was still there, right? It was like Tannehill and Malik Willis still.
He had Tannehill to the 1 seed. Like, what are we doing here?
They said, one bad season, let's get rid of Vrabel for what's his name? Who was this? Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
One of the worst head coaches we've seen. So
he got a job off of Joe Burrow. He said, "Hey, offensive coordinator of a really good quarterback, get over here." Let's see.
So as much as the Giants don't know what they're doing, seemingly they'll probably at least have a new GM to hopefully right the ship with them. But the Titans, I just don't see it with them at all, unless they stumble into a great coach, which they had. They literally were paying one, but they said, "No thanks, we're good." The Titans, there's no chance. And like Keenan said, Giants at least have talent on their roster, right? They have building blocks at least.
2 years away from being 2 years away with the Titans.
From being 2 years away, possibly. And not only that, we all expected the AFC South to be kind of middling, much like the NFC South has been. And it's one of the most competitive divisions.
We had Trevor Lawrence go from Trevor to William to Bill to William to Trevor. So,
that's my dog right now, Trevor Lawrence.
Listen, T Law's back.
Keenan.
Looks like Clemson.
Segue. What a segue. Between these two former number one draft picks, quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and the Bears, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, both hold playoff spots right now. Both lead their divisions right now. Both have been maligned at some point in their career. Looks like each of them are right of the ship. Which one of these two teams, Jaguars or the Bears, would you rather be heading into the postseason? Let's assume they keep their playoff spots right now. They're going to the postseason. Brandon Petty, we'll start with you. Which one of these teams?
Let me get my dog, fucking Trevor, Bill, William, Lawrence the third. Okay? I don't care if he's the first, second, or third. Number one quarterback in the NFL right now. MVP Trevor Lawrence, okay? Let me roll out to the left real quick and flick it 50 yards of the breadbasket of Parker Washington.
I can't tell if this is a bit.
Oh, I'm dead ass serious.
I'm Tim, this is the one thing I'll say in Brandon's favor. Me and Timmy did a picks pod, I think 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And he said, you can book it on Sunday. Brandon Petty's going to message the group chat talking shit, bitching about Trevor Lawrence. And you didn't. Like, we haven't heard a negative Trevor Lawrence comment, text from Brandon Petty in, I'd say, at least a month.
No. It was against the Cardinals, I think was the last one. So you're right. It is.
The only reason is because the Jaguars are on my last leg of my parlay. That's the only reason why it was. But he did throw 3 picks, that bastard.
Make the case for the Jags. What do you realistically think? Like, what's your ceiling, and what do you actually I would be happy if this happened for us. Like, what's your realistic base pick, and then what do you think's the ceiling? And are you actually thinking Super Bowl here? Are you thinking AFC?
Oh, we're winning it all this year. We're coming for it all. No, I'm not that delusional. I think the ceiling is like the AFC championship game, like conference championship.
What Or they lose in a heartbreaking fashion to the New England Patriots to go to the Super Bowl again?
Yeah, because Foyesade Oluokun wasn't down or some bullshit like that.
I saw the Tom Brady throw 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
The scars.
To Danny playoff. I don't know.
The scars are still there.
I think Trevor actually is starting to become like what people thought he could be. Like, I understand it was the Jets. Like, I get that. I don't care. But like the past 5-6 weeks, like he's been playing really, really well. And he's been making throws that, quite frankly, you'd expect him to make. Like the pass last weekend. He's rolling out to his left, throws it off of 1 foot, throws it 50 yards downfield, literally drops a dime right on Parker Washington. I jumped out of my seat and like threw my drink everywhere. Like I was going crazy. Like you would have thought that I was off of some sort of drugs or something. Like
I do want to say the last pod you were on, Brandon, I think you were talking about how you nearly got kicked out of a bar because of Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. So this is literally night and day from the last time we see
day and night.
Like he's making all the throws. Like he's using his legs too. Like we've talked about in the past. Like use your athleticism. That was Kyle. Kyle said that. Kyle was like, he ran a lot in college. Like, why don't we see that? And now he's really using his legs. Like he's running for 40, 50 yards, like touchdowns here and there. The main thing is he's actually like, he's playing super confident. He's making every single throw that he needs to make. He's making throws that it's like, wow, like there's only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL that can do that. And like, I think a lot of it has to do with Jacoby Myers. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like I think we needed somebody else opposite of Brian Thomas to really open up the offense. Like, I think the offensive line's good. I think we have a really good running game. I think Travis Etienne, I'd give him a contract. I'd give him a 3-year contract. Like, I think the defense is a little suspect. I know we have a top 5. I think we actually have the number 1 rushing D in the NFL. Our pass D is a little suspect, kind of like pass rush a little bit. But I mean, like if Trevor's on his game, like you're throwing to Brian Thomas, to Jacoby Myers, like Parker Washington's a really good number 3, like ETN. I love Brenton Strange. Like, I mean, we beat good teams this year too. Like the Kansas City win kind of lost some of its luster. Like we beat the Chargers. Like the Seahawks game was close. We got blown out by the Rams. I think if we played them again, it would be a little bit closer. I think maybe a 10-point loss there. I really love what I'm saying. I think the AFC Championship game is kind of like the ceiling, but I do expect us to. We have Denver this weekend, Indy, and then I think we finish with Tennessee.
Yep.
I think we beat Denver this weekend. I understand it's a mile high. I think we go into Denver. I think we beat Denver.
Cue the group chat text messages happening this weekend for sure.
Either way, it's either Trevor Lawrence is a bum or we're going to the Super Bowl. No in between. It's either or.
Keenan, can I tell you what I would love?
I would love both in the same day.
No. Let's say the Jags do. Let's say they hold serve and they go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want, if possible, I would love a compilation of all the things Brandon said on this pod about the Jags from preseason all the way to the end. Because I've heard it all about Trevor Lawrence, his Jags fandom, to that's my motherfucking dog, Trevor Lawrence right there. So we've heard it all. So I would almost love a Brandon Petty Jaguars compilation from goddamn August to January. We'll see if we can pick that up. Keenan, you want to retort? You want Bears or Jags?
I'll let Timmy go, and then I'm gonna.
Okay.
I have my option, but I'll
pass the buck. I get it.
If you want me to take it, I will.
I got it. To be completely honest, I completely forgot who the second team was. Just listening to
the Chicago Bears. Would you rather be Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears or Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I'm still sticking with the Bears. I'm still sticking with Caleb. We haven't even seen like the ceiling for Caleb. We've seen like pretty mediocre play, and they're a 10-win football team. Good chance they can win their division and get into the playoffs. This last month and a half for the Jags, their best win was against the Chargers, where they swamped them. They took the Cardinals to overtime. I get it. The Cardinals are a scrappy team with Jacoby Brissett. But that game was the last week that Brandon was Trevor Lawrence's dog shit. Need to call him Bill, all that. And then they played the Titans.
And just every week in the picks, it was Bill Lawrence. He was in the Jags. It was Bill Lawrence 23-20 against the Titans. It was like things like that.
They played the Titans.
Sorry.
You're supposed to beat the Titans. They did. They played the Colts, in which Daniel Jones tears his Achilles early in the game. And then at that point, it's just a possession game. They got the ball way more. And the Colts were only scoring field goals, so they win that one. Then they play the Jets. You're supposed to kill the Jets. This is going to be the biggest game for them, is the Broncos. I'm definitely not confident in to pick them to beat the Broncos. Whereas if you played Bears-Broncos, I could see myself picking the Bears. Their run game's been rolling. Defense getting turnovers. Ben Johnson's looking like a good hire. I'm definitely going to go with the Bears. Yeah, it's also Bill Lawrence, man. Like, there's no way I can.
That's Trevor Lawrence to you, damn it.
I'm going to keep calling him Bill, especially after this weekend. You're going to be calling him Mr. Lawrence, I guess, or whatever. What can we revert to beyond
If he
Bill?
wins, he's going to be fucking Willie Lawrence.
Sir Lawrence the Fourth or whatever.
Prince Lawrence. I'm gonna answer this in two parts.
Sure.
I actually have a little, if you're talking just teams, due to the path of which the Bears will have, I would actually have more faith in the Jags moving farther in the playoffs this year. I just think that the Bears are going, I don't know if the Bears are winning the division. Even though Micah went down, we all have the Packers winning the division pre-Micah trade. So the Micah trade just enhanced them, but we still all had faith in the Packers, and really they only obviously traded future draft picks and Kenny Clark.
Whoa.
I don't think Kenny...
I was picking the Kenny Clark Green Bay Packers to make the
I was about to say, I didn't know if Kenny Clark really made that kind of difference on what we felt about the Packers' chances to win the division prior to the Micah Parsons trade. I could be wrong, but it wasn't what I factored in. Like, Kenny Clark is the answer for why he's a 1.5. Like that's him. But so I still have faith in the Packers to win this division. I think that the Bears' path in the playoffs is going to be tougher because whoever they play is going to be a very tough matchup, to where the Jags could see a Chargers team that they've already beat and a Chargers team that is not really good on the offensive line. So naturally they can get farther. If you're making this a Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence, I am going with Caleb Williams. We're talking about the rolling out pass last week. Who had a better pass last week? Like, Caleb Williams had the better pass just last week. If we're talking about rolling right, his throw to DJ Moore in the back of the end zone is insane. But anyways, regardless, I think that Caleb Williams, we don't know how high the ceiling is going to be for him. With Trevor Lawrence, I do feel like I know what the ceiling looks like. It looks really good, and it looks borderline about top 10-ish quarterback, but we don't even know what the ceiling for Caleb Williams looks like yet. And right now he's playing upper echelon, top 15-ish quarterbacking right now to me. So I would say Caleb Williams is who I have faith more in the going forward. But if you're just talking team, I actually think the Jags have a better chance to win a playoff game due to their matchup.
Trevor about to show you that new gear this weekend.
Okay.
T-Law.
So right now, I mean, are you taking... Well, let me just quickly ask, Kyle, before you go. I'm just going to run through. Trevor over Josh Allen.
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very long pause.
That was his answer.
Very
Like,
pause.
I'm not going to say.
I'm like, oh boy.
Josh Allen.
Okay. Ooh, boy, I was like, wait a
I
second.
didn't know you were talking to me. I thought
No, Brandon, talking to you right now.
Allen.
Trevor over Josh Allen. Okay. Trevor over Drake May.
Drake May.
Okay. Trevor over CJ Stroud.
Trevor.
Could see it.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
I'm just naming quarterback to quarterback.
So
Just naming quarterback to quarterback. Trevor over Justin Herbert.
Trevor, because we beat Justin Herbert.
Sure.
And
That doesn't hurt me.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So right now you think Trevor Lawrence is the and because right now the Ravens aren't in the playoffs, so you think Trevor Lawrence right now is the third best quarterback in the AFC?
Whoa, you didn't even say Aaron Rodgers, man.
He's gonna take him. If he takes him over Justin Herbert, he's not taking Aaron. I don't even need
Lamar
to name him.
Experience.
Oh, sorry, Phillip Rivers and Phillip Rivers.
Rivera.
oh, give me Philip Rivers.
I was gonna say. Sorry, I didn't name Aaron Rodgers. I apologize to Aaron Rodgers for not saying his name, but I already knew the answer there. And Bo Nix. Do you
Just
take
being
over?
pointed at me, give me Cam Ward.
Okay. So Trevor Lawrence is the third best quarterback in the AFC, healthy and in the playoffs right now. Got it, Kyle.
You taking, before I go, T-Law or Lamar?
I understand Lamar's had a down year, but I'm still taking Lamar overall as a quarterback. Like, even with the Ravens, because I think it's a lot more than Lamar for the Ravens this year.
And then quickly, rebuttal to Keenan. Why would you take T-Law over Caleb? I want to hear the case.
So, the
reason you need to hear every word clearly.
This has nothing to do with my Caleb Williams buff predictions, like none of that bullshit, okay? We're throwing that out the window here, okay? We're also throwing out the fact that Jacksonville is my team, okay? I think both of them can be great quarterbacks. I think Caleb Williams has shown some stuff this year. I think Trevor Lawrence has also shown some stuff this year.
Fair.
I think right now, in terms of, and this, I could be a little biased if I'm wrong, call me out on it. I understand the level of competition, but I think right now, I think Trevor Lawrence is playing better overall right now than Caleb Williams.
Would agree. I think overall, yes. I think in spurts, Caleb's played as well, but overall, I would agree. You're not being biased.
I do agree. I think Caleb at times has played as well. I think overall, I think we kind of have like the same tier of supporting cast. Like, I think that's pretty even there. I don't really think there's an advantage.
I would agree.
I think maybe running back, you give the nod to ETN maybe a little bit over Swift and Monongai. Receiver, it's there. I think Chicago has the nod at tight end with Loveland and Kmet. So there's really no argument there. I think mainly just the body of work. Like, they're kind of the same. I know Trevor's thrown a couple more interceptions on the year. I really attribute a lot of that to guys on the lineup. Like, Brian Thomas has been banged up all year. You were throwing to De'Ami Brown and Parker Washington. Like, De'Ami Brown's buried on the depth chart for us now. Curtis Stranger's also out. I think Trevor the past month has been playing way better. And two, like, I think Trevor is finally comfortable in the offense that he's in. Like, Liam Cohen's putting him in a lot of positions to where he can succeed. And mainly he's giving him their free rein on the offense. And I think now, like, Trevor, all he needs is 2 more touchdown passes, and he's going to pass his career high for passing touchdowns in the season, which is 25. He's at 23 right now. He hasn't sniffed that since 2022. Like, I think it's 12 touchdowns the last 3 weeks, or last 4 weeks maybe. He's making all the throws in the book. He's mobile. He's using his legs. Like, and the biggest part about it is he's actually taking time to read defenses. Like, you can actually see him going through his progression. Whereas, like, he would kind of speed up his internal clock a little bit and kind of force a throw to whoever. Like, I think he's actually taking his time and actually reading defenses and saying, okay, option 1's not open, option 2's not open, bang, I have Stranger over the middle, or so on and so forth. So I think just overall body work, accuracy, reading defenses, and just playing quarterback in general, I think Trevor right now is playing better than Caleb. Therefore, I'm going to take Trevor over Caleb. And I think, too, right now, I trust, with the way he's playing, I trust Trevor Lawrence more than I trust Caleb Williams.
We have, you know, obviously they're not playing against each other, but if we want to test this theory, we've got Bears, Packers, Jags, Broncos, 2 very good defenses in some very hostile games. This is a great week to put both theories up to the test. So we picked a really good week for this question, Kyle.
I'm going to try to... Oh, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
Fun fact, if the Jags with Liam Cohen win 5 more football games, he'll move into 5th all-time for wins as a Jaguars head coach.
Oh, what?
If he has a great season next year, he can move all the way into 3rd.
That's insane, because the Jags are
he's
kind of like...
up there with Gus Bradley.
Yep, he's right behind him.
That's
He's 4 games behind.
That's weird to me, because the Jags are either like good or irrelevant, but they've never seemed that poverty to me. But that's incredible. That's what you just described. What you just described is incredibly poverty. They will forever now be on my poverty watch. I love it. I love it. I'm going to try to make my point quickly. To answer a thing Tim said earlier, he said he would like the Bears' chances in Denver better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I completely agree with that. Like, another spoiler alert, I said Lions over Steelers. Like, I'm all over the Broncos over the Jags this week. And it might not be the case if it was Denver going to Jacksonville, but Jacksonville going to Denver, like, I think that, like, if Jacksonville can hang in that game, I'll actually be impressed. It's that sort of game to me. To answer this question quickly and to make my points quickly, to answer this question of who'd you rather be, Keenan laid it out perfectly. You want to be the Jags because the AFC is probably the easier road, even though like all these teams seem kind of tough, to be honest. But I'd rather be in the AFC than the NFC. Fun fact right now, Week 16, no division winners. No division is wrapped up, and we're in Week 16. First time in quite a while. So this is as competitive as a league as we've seen in quite a while. It's anybody's Super Bowl right now, honestly. Like, we all would have probably the Rams or whoever as our favorite, but it's anyone's Super Bowl. It wouldn't be insane that the Jags made it. Like, we've seen crazier things. 2 years in particular where like there was no Brady or no Manning, or like 2 years in particular where it was like that, and in this case, no Mahomes either. We got Steelers Cardinals. That was the year Brady got injured.
Yeah,
and then 2011, right? No, 2010 it would have been. I think Manning was injured this year. I think this is the year he was out and the Colts were awful. That was the year we got Steelers Packers, which no one would have picked going into that year.
Yeah, because that was the year Brady, they lost to the Jets. Those back-to-back AFC Championship games for Mark Sanchez. Brady lost in the first round. And then there was, yeah, you're right, no Manning. So then we got Steelers out every year that it wasn't Manning or Brady. It was like, yep, Steelers got it. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, that's a good sign for you. No Mahomes. Yep,
so I'm
signing up.
I would not be shocked at all if we just get an off-the-wall Super Bowl, like something like the Jaguars Seahawks. You know what I mean? Like, it's got the makings for it. That being said, what I do want to say, like, again, Keenan laid the point out. You'd rather be the Jags in the AFC than probably any middling NFC team. I don't necessarily think the Bears are middling, but I'm still not sure about them as well as they're playing, as sure as they're playing. I'm going to actually give Bill, let's call him Trevor Lawrence, some kudos here. And I'm not a fucking Trevor Lawrence guy at all. Like, I've low-key been a hater ever since they put best prospects since Andrew Luck on them. I'm like, all right, let me see it. Right. But what I would
Kyle
say,
hates that phrase so much.
It's like,
I do too.
Because then we got it with Caleb, and it's like, all right, bro, show me. Like, they can't all be the best since Peyton. Like, which one of these is, right?
Fernando Mendoza.
You're
going to see Mendoza best prospect in a while. I can already feel it just because people like his character. I can feel it. Let him win a natty this year. Golly.
I would say this, and Brandon made my points that I would make expertly. Like, Jacoby Myers has definitely made a difference for this team. Yeah. That's correct. Trevor Lawrence using his legs finally. Like, that's correct. And he does just seem like he's turned a corner. Like, his confidence is different. He had a quote a couple weeks ago about like, oh yeah, like no one wants to focus on us, no one wants to believe in us. That's fine with us. Like, actually, like something a leader would say. I agree with Brandon. I think something's different with Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. I think there's reason to buy stock in them. Now, if you're telling me who would I trust more, Trevor or Caleb, I'm still in the camp of like, I trust neither one of them. I think they could go AWOL at any point. I think they both have that in their DNA.
It's possible.
I do completely agree with Brandon, though. I do think we called him Bill, but now he's Trevor. I think he has turned a corner, and he's, you throw on to the games, and he's making plays. He's making plays with confidence. Like, he threw a touch pass to the end zone, like, in the pocket. I think it was to ETN. It was a beautiful pass, like, just with anticipation and touch, something we haven't seen. Like, he was known to sail balls quite a bit early on in his career, and even this year. I mean, a month ago, I was trashing him along with Brandon. Like, get this guy out of here. He's definitely turned a corner. And to be fair to Caleb Williams, he looks very mature in the pocket. I'm just not sure how much I trust it. And it's the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Like, I'm almost going to have to see both of them win a playoff game to believe it. But right now, there's reason to buy stock in both. I do want to apologize because I think we got all the better topics out of the way. I've got 3 more NFL ones. Actually added the Stafford one mid-pod, the Stafford MVP one.
So we'll get through these ones probably quicker.
This one's a little more boring, and then we got 2 that involve the same team. Which one of these disappointing teams would you rather be moving forward? We can call it, we'll do the same thing with Burrow and Mahomes. We'll call it 3 seasons. Would you rather be the Minnesota Vikings, or would you rather be the Atlanta Falcons? Keen, we'll start with you.
I'd rather be the Minnesota Vikings because you have the coach in place, you have an infrastructure in place, the coaching staff is there, and I think you really with them it's more that you just need a quarterback and to stay healthy. But the Falcons, I think you just need not an overhaul, but just a retool of the entire franchise. So I'd say the Minnesota Vikings. I'd rather be them.
Goodness.
Yeah, and I just I don't think you need to change everything because I think there's talent there. It's just I think you need to redo kind of the culture in Atlanta, and you can do that in the offseason. We saw the Patriots; their whole culture change was just getting Mike Vrabel. So you can do that in an offseason, but I think that with the Vikings, as hard as it is to find a quarterback, they're really just a quarterback away, and someone like Mac Jones could take them. So Vikings.
Timmy.
That's a fair point. I'll take the Falcons. I think the talent level on the Falcons is better. I think Bijan, Drake London, we've seen a little bit of Kyle Pitts. He's actually been having a pretty quietly good year this year.
He'll be a Chief next year. Don't worry about
He
it.
very well could be. They didn't pick. I don't think they picked up his 5th-year option, so he is a free agent. And it would be exactly like Atlanta to let him walk. They also kind of need to figure out their quarterback position, and I really don't think Raheem Morris is their coach next year, so they'll need to figure that out. But I think the potential for Atlanta is much higher than the potential for Minnesota. I think Minnesota wants to be that game manager style offense where they have a decent defense. They have Justin Jefferson. We can win 24 to 20 games all day long, whereas Atlanta could have that 2016 Atlanta Falcons run with the talent that they have there where they're scoring 30 plus every single week. So I like the talent better on Atlanta. I think they just need to bring in the coach to utilize it properly. They tried it with Arthur Smith. That failed. And then Raheem Morris didn't work at all. I think he is gone after this year. So, yeah.
Petty.
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I do think Atlanta has better top-tier talent. AJ Terrell, Drake London, Bijan.
Jesse Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates. I love their young pass rushers, but you got a quarterback that's coming back from, I believe, his 3rd ACL tear. I think he blew it out when he was at Indiana, and I think his first year at Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows if he plays next year? If he does, it's probably going to be very late because every time you tear it, it gets harder and harder to come back from. I think with the Vikings, it's as simple as just maybe replacing JJ McCarthy or just kind of figuring out, hey, what do we do? Because it's clear that he's not ready yet.
If they had Sam Darnold, I think it probably would be okay.
Yeah.
If they were able to get someone like Sam Darnold, it would have been fine. I just don't know how they could have gotten that.
Yeah, maybe giving him a contract offer.
Or franchise him just 1 year.
Yeah.
Just to see.
I think you got the defense for it, everything. You got the skill groups. I really think it's as simple as a quarterback fix. So I have more confidence in Minnesota. It's not a lot of confidence, but I think overall the situation is better than Atlanta.
I agree overall. I think like Keenan and Brandon said, the infrastructure is there in Minnesota. I think if there was any other quarterback, and like Keenan just said, if they had Darnold instead of JJ this year, I think they're probably better off. I think they're definitely better off. And if they play the long game with JJ, if they actually give him 3 years to develop, we've seen some flashes. If they want to play the long game, they might be okay overall. That remains to be seen. When it looks bad, it looks fucking awful for JJ McCarthy. That's the thing. But like Tim said with Atlanta, talent-wise, I don't think it's far off at all. Raheem Morris very much reminds me of their previous head coach. What's my man's name? The OC in Pittsburgh.
Arthur Smith.
Arthur
Smith. He had a worse quarterback position when he was coaching them, and it was just the same thing. It was dumb coaching mistakes that would lose them these games. They'd be right in the mix, but they just couldn't get over the hump. So I agree with Tim. I think overall they just need a head coaching change. Raheem Morris hasn't been it. They get a real head coach in there, by all means, they could just be a contender. You can see it. They're just drift in talent. And you can get a QB, whoever it may be. We saw it with Minnesota and Darnold. You can kind of stumble your way into a QB even if you got Penix injured. And I know we've kind of debated back and forth about what Penix actually is. I actually kind of liked him when he is healthy. Like Brandon said, I mean, that's the risk when you take him. 2 ACL tears, now he's on his third. So who knows when you see him? Cousins obviously ain't going to be the long-term starter. So, like, what do they do from here? Maybe that's a Tua spot next year for all we know. But I am interested.
I would call Kyler before I take Tua.
I would love that. I would love that, especially on turf. That's not bad. That's not a bad restoration.
I don't think it's a bad trial. I mean, like next year, especially with Penix, I mean, like why not? If you're not gonna get a quarterback pick, maybe you take a guy who can sit for a little bit of time, and then just say, hey, let's Kyler run it for a year. Let's see if you got it. If you don't got it, you're gone. If you do have it, then cool, we got a guy.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, I think I would answer the Vikings, but I think you've got a case there for the Falcons, like Tim did.
That's interesting.
Last couple questions. We'll kind of speed through these. These two teams are currently in the playoff picture. They're both injured. Which one of these teams assume they hold their spot? Which one of these teams would you rather be? The Green Bay Packers, who are injured, just lost Micah Parsons, look like a different team without him, or the team that does not have a great offensive line right now? They're banged up, but they continue to compete, and that's the Los Angeles Chargers. Which of these teams would you rather be? Timmy, we'll start with you.
It's absolutely the Packers. I think the offense is better. I think the defense is better. I think the Packers are going to lose. If they lose in the playoffs, they're losing a close game, like a 3 to 7 point game. It's not going to be much more than one score, in my opinion. I think they're going to compete. They always compete well in the playoffs. Whereas the Chargers, they could get overrun at the offensive line position and they could lose early, like they did against the Jags. It could be a swamp. Like it could just be a terrible game. So I would definitely take the Packers all day, even without Micah Parsons. There is a reason why I picked them to go to the Super Bowl before Micah Parsons got traded there. They're a good team. They play well in the cold months. Chargers are a hot weather team that have been falling apart. So definitely like the Packers.
Brandon, you can go now. Go after.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers. The Chargers right now, to me, just aren't playing great football. Quite frankly, I really don't know if they will be playing great football. The running game's kind of very stagnant. But they're trying to get Amari Hampton going and Kamani Vidal going, and it's not really working. Quentin Johnson's kind of regressed back to what he was last year. And really, the passing game really has no go-to receiver. It's kind of really just 3 or 4 guys, 5 sometimes, that are just kind of sprinkled in there. I actually think Green Bay wins that game last week against Denver if Christian Watson doesn't go out with an injury. I think he's actually a big part of that offense, and I think he's kind of the X factor. He hasn't really been able to stay healthy. I think if he's on the field, they just got Jaden Reed back. That kind of puts Matthew Golden to wide receiver 3 role, which I think right now at this point, that's what he's best suited to be, as he just learns how to play receiver. Obviously, Josh Jacobs, like, they need to get him healthy and keep him healthy. Because if he misses, you've already got Emmanuel Wilson missing as well, too. Marshawn Lloyd's banged up. Like, their running back depth has kind of already been tested. And Jordan Love's playing really, really good football. I think the defense, too, like, it sucks losing Micah, but, like, you still have Rashawn Gary. Like, Lucas Van Ness was a first-round pick. Like, he's going to have to step up. I just trust that offense overall. I think they could keep up with anybody, especially if Christian Watson's healthy.
Yes, and defensively they still have Edgerrin Cooper, they still have Quay Walker, Xavier McKinney, so along with Rashawn Gary, they still have pieces defensively. So though the Chargers defense might even be playing just a touch better right now, obviously, than the Green Bay Packers, I do think that offensively the Packers have a level they can get to that the Chargers can't get to, and just do off protection alone, I would lean the Packers because Zach Tom, their offensive lineman who's been playing great this year, is not out long-term, and neither is Christian Watson, where those two both look like if all 3 of them would have been gone in that Denver game, then you would have me with the Chargers because I think that's just a lot to overcome, but keeping Christian Watson, keeping Zach Tom, I think that the Packers have a real shot at getting to the 2 or 3 seed, because I think that they have the ability to win out, and if they do that, they can get even like the 1 seed, especially in the playoffs. Even the Chargers having to go on the road or people having to go to Lambeau. I think like Lambeau is one of those places that, especially in January, that is one of the best home field advantages, because not a lot of people want to go up to 10-degree frigid weather. So that's a tough place to play. And obviously, even if LA was at home, it's not like that might be your crowd. that might be your home crowd, especially like think of the Ravens going there, just like or the Steelers going there, just like an avid fan base. Like that might be their crowd. So I would lean the Packers.
Yeah, the answer for me is the Packers, but I do want to give the Chargers props. I've been kind of waiting for them to die this past month, and they won't.
Mm-hmm.
They won't die. And I would include this past week, Mahomes injury aside, I was all over the Chiefs this week because I'm like, all right, an LA team going to sub 20-degree weather, you can almost book it, right? Like, unless it's Matt Stafford, who's used to playing in cold weather, like, it don't even matter who the quarterback is. You can usually book it. And they would not go away that game. Granted, the Chiefs, let's say Mahomes doesn't get injured. Like, yeah, they're driving to win or tie the game, whatever, but they just would not go away. And that Jags game aside, they don't look as awful as you would expect them to with no offensive line. Like, Herbert low-key, like, just going by the definition of most valuable, like, Herbert's got a case. He's not letting that team die. He's playing great football. Again, aside from that Jaguars game, like, most of this year, he's been all right. More than all right, even. And we don't talk about someone who's using their legs. Like, that dude's out there with a fractured arm, like, giving his all. So I'm not writing the Chargers all the way off, but I agree with y'all. The answer is the Packers. Actually threw in a bonus NFL one. I got this one written down. I don't love it. I also put the Lions or the Packers. Who'd you rather be in the NFC North? Packers. I do think the Lions win this week. Let me go here because I do want to say, Keenan, you mentioned, and we've mentioned this quite a bit throughout the season, we all picked the Packers to win the NFC North, even without Micah Parsons. Like, that was our pick, and then Micah Parsons happened, and we're all like, hey, this reinforces it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the Packers without Micah after this injury. It obviously makes them less scary. They were up and down before that, and they kind of found themselves in the last 4 weeks. I just don't know. I don't know with them. Especially, you could see it in that Broncos game. Granted, that happened late, but Broncos did not fear that defense at all coming out of that injury. And I do wonder, like, it just seems like the absolute worst time to lose Micah Parsons. You never want to lose him, but to lose him 3 weeks when you're finding yourself, you got 3 weeks before the playoffs, it seems like the absolute worst time. And that's hard to scheme around. If that's week 8, maybe you can scheme around it a little bit. It's very hard to switch up and scheme around it. And he was playing out of his mind this last month, too. He's a big part of the reason why they looked so good. So that scares me. And then just with the Lions, it's an outside shot. Like, it's going to be very hard for them to make it, even though they are right now the 8th spot. So they could get in, and it would help if the Packers lost this weekend. Lions have scored the most points in the league. So that's still an extremely potent offense. And it's the Steelers at home. I think they killed the Steelers this weekend. I can't say that enough. So they're going to have an outside shot. And this Micah injury just opened the door that much more. That's all I'll say. I don't even know if I really have an answer for this. If this was like 5 weeks left in the season, I'd probably say the Lions. And hell, I'll just say the Lions for argument's sake right now. But I'm worried about the Packers, because, again, we all had, and we still do by what you guys say, like, we still have confidence in them. My confidence is wavering a little bit with the Packers. So I'll go with the Lions, even though I think it's a good chance they don't make the playoffs. But Packers' last 3 games are not easy. They're not easy.
They need to win out. And actually, I think it might even be easier if the Bears, Kyle, to be quite honest with you, because the Bears play the Packers this week, and then next week play the 49ers, and then the Lions to get them week 18. So, like, if the Bears lose this week to the Packers, next week to the 49ers, which are obviously 2 very tough games, they're 10-6, and then go on.
I just want to say Packers is just a tough because they got Bears this week, like you said. then the Ravens,
Yeah.
then the Vikings, who have at least played the NFC North. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So
I only say the Bears just because of the fact that the Lions literally played them the last week of the season. So like if they Lions win the next two, Bears will lose the next two. That game really gets them the like winner of that game's the 7th seed, which I kind of hope happens and realistically could happen. I really hope it does because that'd be really fun to have a Lions Bears last week of the season winner into the playoffs, losers out of the playoffs. I think that'd be fun. But I'm going with the Packers still.
Keen, it's only tradition. I think it's happened the last 4 years that the primetime game is the Lions, like playing for something in the last game.
The 1 seed or beating the Packers at your last year of Aaron Rodgers or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So it feels fitting for the Bears to lose the next two, the Lions to win the next two, which is the Steelers in Minnesota. So I have them winning both. I actually think I'd have the Bears losing both, and then you get a Bears-Lions game for the playoffs, which would be fun. I hope it happens. I'm just saying, Bears fans, be a little cautious.
Petty Timmy,
I think Detroit wins out. I think Detroit wins out. I don't know, man. I really don't trust Chicago. I don't think they beat Green Bay. I don't think they beat Green Bay or San Francisco.
And then that's the case. Then they go to that Lions game. The Bears are 10-5 or 10-6, and then the Lions are 10-6. And the winner of that game.
And I don't think that as bad as Detroit's defense is, my thing with Detroit is that if it's a shootout, I'm going to take them every time. If you're telling me, hey, whoever wins this game is the first team to 40, I'm taking the Lions.
Unless you're playing the Rams.
Unless you're playing the Rams. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just saying that because last week the Rams cut the 41. So that's all I'm saying.
You can't stop Detroit. Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams, if they had Laporta, it would definitely help out, but they don't. But with Gibbs out of the backfield, that's all you really need. Just tell Jared Goff, hey, drop back and throw the ball 50 times. I think they beat Pittsburgh. I do think that's going to be a blowout. I really don't think it's close because I think Pittsburgh's very fraudulent.
Minnesota on Christmas, and the good thing, and the kind of unfair thing for the Lions or for the Bears is if the Bears play the 49ers, that's a 10-day break for the Lions.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough.
That's a good point.
And I don't think the Bears beat the Packers, even with the Packers losing Micah. I don't think they beat the Niners either because I think the Niners are a good football team.
Yeah.
I have more faith in the Lions, and I think if it comes down to that head-to-head game, I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah. Timmy, what are your thoughts on that?
I honestly don't know which way I want to go here. So if we're saying that if we're all confident that the Packers beat the Bears this weekend,
I'm not confident in that. I'll say that.
Okay. I think I would probably pick the Packers to win this game. Saturday football, by the way, just saying. So say they win that game, Packers move up to 10 wins. They're now tied with the Bears. It's going to be a week 18, 3 teams playing for potentially the division.
That tie throws things off.
Yeah, it really does. That tie saves them if say they beat the Bears, but then they lose to the Ravens. If they lose, then they lose the division. If they win the division. It's all going to come down to all these teams playing for something week 18. So
it's going to be fun.
I think I would still take the Packers to win the division. I think the tie helps them. My second most confident team to make the playoffs is the Lions. Like Kyle said, their offense is scoring the most points. They're just a team that they can beat any team on any night. And they could dominate any team on any night. If they make the playoffs,
we all really had them 10-7, 11-6 as a wild card team making the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's not crazy.
Winning out is 10-7, winning out to 11-6 as a wild card team making the playoffs.
Potentially a win, but
potentially a win.
It is really tough. I think if they make the playoffs, they might be top three favorite
live
to make the Super Bowl. Like it's going to be really tough. So it obviously
the only thing is their defense.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
And it's the back end of their defense. They still have the pass rushers, and they've gotten decent linebacker play this year. They're just so injured at the secondary. So
they'll be heading to Green Bay most likely,
which they could absolutely
in this scenario, or
win.
Philly if Philly wins.
They could kill Philly. It wouldn't surprise me.
If it's in Philly and Green Bay, I don't love Goff in those situations. That's the thing.
Yeah, you know who I do love? Jahmyr Gibbs.
Absolutely,
But speaking of, Kyle, did you have any more? Can we get to? Are we getting to Thursday?
I've got two more, and let's go quick because I just added these. Let's go quick with these, all right? Because I feel like we underrepresented the Broncos here. We're at 90 minutes, so let's really make this quick. These are two similar teams. They've got home field advantages. They've got elite defenses. But I think each of us, like if we had to pick a reason why they lose, maybe we look at the QBs here. So Seahawks or Broncos, who'd you rather be going to this postseason? Let's be quick here. Let's not give soliloquies.
Broncos, because I think they have a much better chance of being the 1 seed, and going to Denver is much more difficult than not much more difficult than Seattle, but I think that going to Denver is much more difficult than Seattle on the road, even though they were great on the road.
Yeah,
I'm taking Seattle.
Me too.
Man. I also think that Seattle's offense right now, like Rashid Shaheed's starting to break out for them. I think that really takes focus off of JSN. The running game's good. Depends if you want to. It's Sam Darnold over Knicks. That's what the argument is here. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Bo Nix. Give me Seattle.
Okay.
Seattle for the same reason. I don't think either defense is necessarily better, but I do think Seattle's offense is better than Denver. So,
fair.
I'm agreeing with Keenan here. I actually like Seattle as a team. I mean, I've said on here many times, I think Seattle's like second best team in the league.
Seattle's like your second team, guy. You've always been a fan of Seattle naturally.
A little bit. I like Seattle.
You like the Russ and everything. You like the Marshawn Lynch. You kind of always been like a Seattle kind of like not fan, but like just a supporter.
Got respect for Seattle, and I wasn't sure about them going into the season, but I do think like they can go bar for bar with the Rams. Like I really do think that. But like Keenan said,
we'll find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow. That's absolutely right. Broncos being the 1 seed, I think that's absolutely a tough place to play. And I do think they just have a superpower when they're at home, kind of like you say with Cleveland's defense, like you say with Seattle, if they were to get the 1 seed, which is very possible after tomorrow. If Seattle wins tomorrow, they're going to be live for the 1 seed. But right now, just as is, right now with Seattle at whatever they are, the 5 or the 6, and the Broncos at the 1, it's a very tough place to play. That being said, if Josh Allen were to be in Denver, I might like Buffalo a little better than Denver. But for right now, for argument's sake, I'm going to go with the Broncos. I had one question about the Niners, but I'm not going to go there. Do you guys want the NBA one, or we want to table that?
Table it.
Actually, let's go really quick. I'm going to ask you really quick.
Okay, never mind.
Because it can be a 1-word answer type, and then we can do our picks for Thursday. NBA Cup. Keep it in Vegas, or rotating location like the Super Bowl, right? Or home court like it's the playoffs. So let's say maybe, I don't know who has a better record between the Knicks and the Spurs, but let's say it was the Knicks. Knicks get that home game at MSG.
Keep it in Vegas.
Keep it in Vegas. I think making it a tournament feel like that in Vegas every year, you know exactly where it's supposed to be. Like I think keep it in Vegas.
Keep it in Vegas, and then you instead of hoisting the banners at your stadium, you just keep the banners in Vegas at the same stadium every year.
I like
what
that.
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly.
That would be cool.
Exactly.
I like that. I would say rotating location similar to the Super Bowl. I'm not mad, especially with the banners idea. I'm not mad at keeping it in Vegas. The only thing I would change either way, whether it's Vegas or a rotating location, do the quarterfinals a week before. That way people can actually like plan and buy tickets if they want to go see. And then, 12 days later, you got the game. I think that'd be better. Picks. Rams at Seahawks.
Seahawks are 1.5 point favorites. I've got
it's
20
flopped like 3 times back and forth.
27-24 Rams. I got Stafford with a 3-touchdown game, cementing his MVP case.
I'll also take.
I got the work.
I'll also take the Rams. I'll go 28-22. I think it's a close game. It's a 1-score game either way. I don't see either team blowing either team out, but I'm just a little bit more confident in the Rams, both defensively and offensively.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams 30-27. Agree. I don't really think they're really going to miss the whole. I think they're going to miss Devontae, but I don't think it's going to be like super, like whatever. I think the run game's good. The defense is great. Close game. I think the Rams pull it off. The MVP pulls it off.
23-20 Hawks. I think they
I
split.
knew that was coming.
Hey, I picked the Seahawks the last game. Had they won, I would have picked the Rams for this game. Like, I think this is a split either way. Like, I think these teams are even. But you couple that with it being in Seattle, the way Seattle's defense played against the Rams last game, as I mentioned earlier, and no Devontae, I do think that's going to be a factor. Seahawks need this game. They know, like we just said about home field advantage. They get the one, they're really thinking Super Bowl. They're thinking Super Bowl either way, but they're really believing they can win the Super Bowl if they got the one. So I think it's a low-scoring game. I think their defense shows up. Darnold might not look great, but I don't think he throws 4 picks. And they were in that game even with the 4 picks. It took a 60-yard field goal that was short for them to lose. So I got the Seahawks in this game. I do want to say I'll be going to Canada tomorrow, so there's a chance I miss this game. There's a chance I miss the Saturday night game with the Bears and Packers. If that's the case, call, I don't know, Suicide Watch? Call Suicide Watch or something. You might not see me on the next pod if I have to miss both tomorrow's Thursday night game and Saturday night game.
I've been on the low. I've been taking my time. I don't want to be alive.
Check in with me on Sunday.
I just want to die.
I'll be there
today.
Sunday. Sunday's games, I'll be
After
there.
that Jaguar win.
If I got to miss Saturday and Thursday, your boy is not going to be in a good mood at all.
Yeah, call Logic. I'll figure it out for you.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Before we go,
Go on.
Friday, December 19th, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got any comments? I can tell you who I think's going to win.
Joshua by murder.
Oh, yeah. I think he might catch a charge. He might punch his head off. There was a rumor that there's a no knockout clause in this fight and that this fight's not going to matter. But
a no knockout clause.
It's not the first time.
That.
It's not the first time Jake Paul's done that. So.
Anthony Joshua will win in whatever fashion he needs to win in. Also, on that front, shout out to Terrence Crawford announcing his retirement. One of the best boxers of the generation.
Undefeated.
Good up for him, 42-0. So shout out to Terrence Crawford.
Alabama, Oklahoma on Friday too.
Ooh, we got some good college playoff too.
Oklahoma, give me Oklahoma, and then it's Miami and
A&M.
A&M,
and then Oregon.
Give me A&M. I don't like Carson Beck, even though Miami's really good. Give me A&M and give me Oklahoma.
And then you get the 3:30 and the 7:30 game, which is
Oregon, Tulane.
I hate how they did that.
James Madison.
I hate how they did that.
Oregon by
a
blowout.
Yeah.
50.
And then the other one, who's James or Tulane playing?
Ole Miss, Tulane.
Yeah,
Ole Miss by 30.
Oh
no,
actually, this year, I think it was.
Actually, I think this game will randomly be close for a half because they'll miss. It'll be like a weird Lane Kiffin thing, and then in the second half.
And then Notre Dame's gonna cry the whole entire weekend, being like, "See, we should have been in there. Those teams didn't deserve it." It's gonna be so fun.
Ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah.
We're out of here. It's a wrap. Good pod, fellas. We'll be back. I don't know if y'all will do a pods or a picks pod while I'm gone or whatever, but we'll be back soon. This was the Warner Brothas Podcast. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Keep commenting. Keep talking shit to us. We love it. We love it. We'll be back. Mini playoff season. We love it. We're out of here.